While we were waiting to coordinate a safe place and time to meet with Virginia and the others, I had Hieronymous lead me down to the lab where he conducted his memory experiments. Right now, things were good between us, and I figured that it was the best time to approach him with my concerns. I don't like you being in here, Hieronymous says immediately as we walk in. There is still a lot that you don't know, and I don't want you touching the wrong thing and getting hurt. Then, at least in this room, consider me less your wife and more your famulus, your special magical assistant, I tell him, keeping my voice bright and happy to try to make him more comfortable with me. Think about it this way. What if something did happen to you? How would I know what goes on in this room? Hieronymous is silent for a moment as he considers me. That is a fair request. I had been waiting until your graduation, until you became familiar with more advanced magics, but seeing as you are no longer going to college and the prospect of your graduation seems dubious at best, it seems up to me to continue your education. I think it could help us grow closer together, I offer. Remember, we are a team now. We always have been, but now more than ever. Is there something in here that we can use against Potsdam? Hieronymus pauses for a moment before he shakes his head. Doubtful. I have a bad habit of starting projects, but rarely see any of them through to completion. Okay then, I relent. But there's something that we have here that she could use as potential leverage against us. I can see the wheels churning in his mind before he finally realizes what I'm getting at. No, Tori, no. Out of the question. Think about if something happened to you. What would I do to get you back? Sometimes you can't get people back, I remind him in a much more somber tone, and Hieronymus pauses to consider me. If anything, you were the one who was spouting promises left and right when you woke up. I already told you that I've released you from every vow you've made to me. That includes our wedding vows, doesn't it? Every vow means every vow, Hieronymus says simply. And, to put us on even terms, I release you from every vow that you have made to me as well. Wait, what? I demand, suddenly feeling my insides grow cold. Why did you do that? I like being married to you. We are still married, Tori, Hieronymus replies, and a hint of laughter slips into his voice as he says it. Not knowing what awaits us, I think it might be better if, at least for right now, our vows weren't used against us. We can also still abide by them, even if we aren't formally bound by them. I will, of course, continue to offer you my wisdom and protection, and I'll always give you my kindness and my courage, I say firmly, and Hieronymus offers me a small smile as he takes my hand and raises it to his lips, kissing the back of my knuckles. We can always renew our vows later, Tori, he reminds me. I do owe you a much better wedding than what we were previously subjected to. That's true, I admit reflectively before my voice turns teasing. Oh, maybe we can host the reception at the Glen. Hieronymus just chuckles as he shakes his head and looks around him. So, what did you want to do in here, Tori? Without answering, I take his hand and lead him over into the next room where the memory experiment was. Hieronymus looks distinctly uncomfortable, but at least this time, I could understand why. You didn't have my consent to take those memories, I tell him as I look down into the swirling vortex. I understand why you did, and I'm not mad. I am not angry. But your father was right about one thing. If someone finds out that you have this, that you've been experimenting with memory magic and you can replace someone's memories even after their mind has been wiped, they can come after you and try to take your magic as well. I don't want to see that happen. Tori, Hieronymus pauses as if he's thinking this over for himself. The benefits of being able to restore your memories if anything happened to you far outweigh the risks of what would happen if it were discovered. But Potsdam knows about it, I remind him. We don't know that she hasn't told anyone about it. Someone could be coming after us right now. If she's willing to make an enemy out of pretty much all of the prominent American magical families, what do you think she plans to do to you? To me? To us? But if you were ever expelled, this could bring you back, Hieronymous murmurs quietly, but I just shake my head. If I was ever expelled, then you would still have me, I tell him, and Hieronymous looks confused. Remember, even when you lose your memories of someone, you don't lose your feelings for them. Even if I lost my memories of you, of magic, of everyone I care about, I would still love you just as much as you love me. I just wouldn't remember it. And it would hurt a lot, but I would still love you, and you would always have your memories of the time we spent together. You would still have my diaries recounting every best moment we shared together, and you could still go to bed every night knowing how much I still love you, even if I can't remember it's you I'm in love with. But I can't hold you, Hieronymous says sadly, as he tucks a strand of hair behind my ear. I can't hold you, or kiss you, or talk to you. Once someone is expelled from the magical community, they're gone. But I wouldn't be, I say as I smile softly up at him. Maybe we couldn't be together physically, but I still go to sleep. I still dream. Knowing you, you'd find a way to sneak into my dreams. And, at least that way, when we're sleeping, we can still be together. And when I wake up, I wouldn't remember what happened in my dream, but I'd feel better. I wouldn't know why, but you'd know. And that's what counts. Hieronymous wraps his arms around me so tightly, I think he might actually physically crush my ribcage. I love you, Tori, he says softly, his lips brushing against the edge of my earlobe. You're right. If your memories of me were expunged and you were excommunicated from the magical community, I would still find a way to be with you. You are too important for me to lose. I mean, hopefully this is all just hypothetical, I say as I smile up at him. I don't know. With Potsdam threatening them with losing their magic, it makes me concerned she might try to do it for us too. I mean, she shielded my memories once before. What if we go to her and she tries to use memory magic on us? I won't allow her to hurt you, Hieronymous says firmly, tilting my chin up with one slender finger. She may be the headmaster, but I am stronger than she is. I can't help but frown as I consider this. I have no idea how powerful she is, but then again, I'm not really sure I have any idea of how powerful you are either. Do you know more advanced spells than she does? That, Hieronymous admits, but she also doesn't have anything worth fighting for. I do. He reaches down to kiss me again, and I can't help but smile as I return it. She is Becky, though, I remind him. Virginia didn't say anything about Donald. I wonder if he's graduated. He didn't go into the other world with us. I told him to stay with Becky, and I haven't talked to either of them since. We'll find out soon enough, Hieronymous says softly, and I can't help but nod my head in agreement. But first, I say as I turn back to the memory experiment, this needs to go. I know Potsdam gave you the idea to create it, but you're the one who built it, and it's in your house. I don't want anyone using it as leverage against you. They're your memories, Tori, Hieronymous says softly. Ones that I have admittedly taken without your consent. If you think it needs to go, then I will, of course, comply. It needs to go, I repeat firmly. Hieronymous nods, but he just looks down into the swirling colors, looking completely and totally dejected. For a moment, I actually stopped to think about how hard Hieronymous worked to put this together. It must have taken so much time and effort just to make sure that he didn't lose me. It's okay, Hieronymous, I say softly as I slip his hand to mine. We don't need old memories. We'll make new ones. Hieronymous smiles softly down at me. That we will. Will you stay with me and tell me some of your favorite memories of our time together while I work? I can't help but beam at him. Oh, you mean the time we made out in the detention room? Or the time we had our first kiss? Or the time we got married? Or our chai date at the Glen? Or when we celebrated our first holiday here together? Or when you invited my friends over for Thanksgiving? Or the first time we saw each other after I went away to Miss Minchin's? Ooh, or the time when... Just pick one, Tori, Hieronymous says, although there is laughter in his voice as he says it. How much time do you think it will take you? I ask. I mean, there are a lot of good stories. I want to know if I should start with the best ones or start from the beginning. Hieronymous smiles at me. Start from the beginning.